Hi, I'm Mavis.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Bethany, and you're listening to the Slightly Stable podcast.
What you're looking at, it doesn't look great because I decided to take some scissors to it this week. It was like dead at the ends, and I was like, I'm just gonna cut like an inch off. Sometimes when it's just an inch.
Yeah.
And I went a little bit more than an inch. I went like 4 inches. So like I cut a lot off. So it's real short. And it's like, it's not, there's no layers now. It's just like, it's not good.
No, but you should just make it blunt. People do blunt cuts are like in right now.
I look like Hermione Granger or whatever her name is. It's not really a good look, but it's fine. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. I'll take any compliment I can possibly get these days.
That's a vibe.
Take it when you can get them. I've got helmet hair and I've got a headband on to hide my hairnet line. So there's that.
Wait, what time is it there again?
1:22.
Oh, how nice for you. Finally to not have to like be up at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
Right?
that was a struggle. I feel like you hit that where you're like, I'm good. And then I'm Bethany, I'm one of those people that will fall asleep. Like if you take a minute to respond, like I'm asleep within 30 seconds. And it just, when you hit.
What a dream. Because I can't sleep ever.
Seriously, what is that like to be able to go to sleep like that? Okay, so welcome to episode 3 of the Slightly Stable podcast. Okay, Gabby, can you just quickly, because I'm really not interested, but I am at the same time, this Kate Middleton thing, like I understand that she's like unfortunately has cancer, which is really sad, and I think it's really messed up that the entire world is like searching for her and harassing this poor woman, but why?
Okay. So basically what happened is in January, they announced that she was going to be stepping away from her royal duties because she was having a planned surgery.
Wait, sorry, pause. What do these people do? Like, it's literally just a family.
Nothing like shake hands, kiss babies, right? So she was, and like their life is funded by taxpayers' dollars. So they are the royals, so they're like above everybody because of their DNA, but they have to like show up to things like parties and stuff. So they were like,
is this like an actual, like are you being serious? I actually like
I'm
want to
so
know,
serious. So yeah, so they were like, she's stepping away from her royal duties. She's having a planned surgery. She'll be back. Let's say, what month are we in? Let's say she'll be back March 1st. Okay. So then she steps away and, no, she goes to the hospital. Her husband and her family like never visit her in the hospital. Her husband goes one time into the hospital. And then March 1st rolls around and they're like, oh yeah, she's not coming back till Easter. Sorry. Then she releases a Mother's Day photo for British Mother's Day, and come to find out it's fully photoshopped. Like all the people in the photo were not actually in the photo. Like they like piecemealed them together. And then she announced, she was like, oh yeah, I was playing around with Photoshop, but it wasn't just like regular, like, what's it called? FaceTime or whatever. Yeah. It was like Adobe Photoshop. Like somebody put them onto a computer and fully piecemealed the picture. So everyone's like, no freaking way did the freaking Princess of Wales log into an Adobe account and like do this whole thing. So people started freaking out because they pushed the timeline back. Then they started putting out pictures of her, like paparazzi pictures that weren't real. Like it was like a picture of her, like, oh, Princess Kate spotted out. And it'll be a picture of her like in a car with her head turned. And you can tell like vividly that the scene through the window of the car is not the same as like the scene on the outside of the car. Like it was like very sketchy PR, which I want to say that the royals have no control over any of their PR. They don't even have control over like any of their anything. Like,
wait, so she was just in hiding getting treatment for cancer?
She was getting treatment for cancer. Her husband and their staff, the people who make all their public statements, should have stepped in and done a better PR job. Like they threw her to the wolves essentially for her.
Yeah, I feel like it was less like throw to the wolves. I think they just kind of assumed that because the Brits are so obsessed with them, if they say like she's not going to be around for a while, genuinely most Brits were like, okay, she's not going to be around for like, they really don't.
In the beginning, but afterwards, them throwing her under the bus, saying that she was the one who photoshopped the stuff, them putting out those pictures of her that were fake, and 100%. Her husband never stepping up. Like nobody cares about Kate Middleton as far as like the King Parliament or whatever, like the crown, like the actual establishment of it, everything is to protect William. And William, as her husband, should have stepped in and made a statement and told his people to like back off. But they basically are like, anyone can be collateral damage as long as the future king comes out looking like he's amazing.
He's fine. But the thing is, I mean, there were questions of him having an affair.
Imagine if our country paid half as much attention or gave half as much attention to, like, I don't know, maybe like kids that are missing, like other people that are missing, like leave Kate Middleton alone.
Guys,
okay,
good at this.
I don't know why I decided to put this on our notes for the week, but it just came to my mind, and I was, because everyone every now and then you like will text around like, what are you watching? So I just figured if we like all suggest
Bethany,
things.
You're my what are you watching person. Like I think we have the same vibe, and so I'm always like, if I need something, which I'm so glad we're doing this because I do need something. Bethany is she's got the goods.
Me and Mavis used to, actually, Mavis is funny because Mavis will come to my house and we'll sit and binge like an entire season of just some random show that we're both into. But then whenever I talk to Mavis about like TV shows or movies, she's like, I don't know, I really like a period piece. And I will not watch a period piece. You put on something that's older than 2005 and I'm like, this is the olden days.
Wait, did you watch Bridgerton?
No, hell no.
But this week, Gabby is a period piece, and she's like, it came out in 2019. I'm like, but
wait, what's a period piece?
Like when it's about, like, I love like Viking. I love like I don't know, like The Last Kingdom. Amazing. That was on my list.
What's that about?
And the Vikings, like
the Vikings.
Their conquest through England. That's
like stabbing people with swords and swords. It's
like historical, so maybe it's like the history English nerd in me that I can actually relate to, like these characters or something I've studied, which call me nerdy a little bit, but like Sanditon, I loved Bridgerton, I love like pieces like that. Okay,
I like Bridgerton because it's about gossiping, and it's about it's about the olden days TMZ. I'm into Bridgerton, and I like the music.
I could see that also.
I couldn't even watch it because there's corsets. If I see a corset, I'm like, no.
But yeah, Bethany is so like, for how similar we are in like our TV show and movie watching. I mean, I'm more of a TV show person because I can't do like the hour and a half or 2 hours when it's over, or even if there's like a few movies, like I want like a storyline that like.
Yeah. I will say, okay, on the topic of period pieces, I will say, and this is number 1 on my list. This is like a short series on Netflix. It's called All the Light We Cannot See. That is definitely a period piece, but it is, I mean, like, it's been a while since I watched it. It's been, I don't know, like at least 6 months. That is probably one of the best series I have ever watched in my entire life. I suggest everyone go watch it. The actress in the movie is, so she plays a blind person, and she's actually blind in real life too, which I thought was really interesting.
I love when they do that.
She did an incredible job. I mean, like, it's one of the most incredible series that I've ever watched, and it's short too. So if you can't, commit,
do you cry? Is it a crying?
Oh my God, yeah. Like,
okay.
It takes you on an emotional roller coaster. It's about like Nazi Germany. I mean, I don't want to like go into great detail because I don't want to ruin it. I'm really bad at giving summaries of shows without just telling everybody what happens. But it's incredible. If you don't like period pieces, you don't like olden day things or history, don't let that deter you from it. It has all those things, but it's just incredible.
Oh, that makes me think of another movie that I think you guys might like. It's a TV show. Actually, Bethany, you did not like it because I tried to get you to watch it and you're like, I couldn't make it through 10 minutes.
Oh no, what is it?
Tell Me Lies. It's not on my list, but it made me think of.
Wait, no, I liked Tell Me Lies.
Did you really?
Yeah. I think I told you to watch Tell Me Lies.
Oh, okay. Then maybe you did. But it was
Tell Me Lies is
good. And it made me think about it. It's like, I think we have a unique perspective because we were the age that they are at that time. So like the hairstyles, the clothing, the music, everything, like kind of nostalgic, but I think maybe to like a younger generation that might be considered a period piece. But 2007, y'all, Best
Wait,
of times.
Hold on. Did Tell Me Lies release a second season yet?
It's coming out. It's not out yet.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Wait, Mavis, you watched it, didn't you? You will
love so
it.
good.
Yeah.
But I'd never even heard about this, so I'm definitely not the one that was like, I started it and didn't get into it, because I have now, wait, who's in it? Is it on a Netflix Prime? I'm adding this to my list.
It's on Hulu.
Hulu, yeah.
It's on Hulu. Yeah, so add that to your list. I'm gonna say that I watch a lot of things. Like I can't sleep, and so I stay up all night and watch stuff, and then all I do is ride. And so I went into like the depths of Peacock, and I do like reality television because I think it's mindless, and it just makes me feel like I don't have to think about anything serious. Like, it never makes me think about anything serious. There's a show called The Traitors, and it's on Peacock. It is like a reality game show, and it's really
I've
good.
seen that.
Like, it's not something I would normally watch, but I've gotten to the end of like a lot of things recently. And I was looking for something to watch, and a couple of the Real Housewives were on there, and I love Housewives. So I started watching it. It was like gripping. I wouldn't even pick up my phone and like scroll. Normally I'm like scrolling Instagram and watching shows or texting or whatever. Like, this is one show that I had my phone down the entire time and I was locked in. It's kind of like a game show. Basically, there's like 20 people. They live in a castle, and it's like a whole bunch of like reality personalities. And there's faithfuls, which are like good people, and there's two people or multiple people, sometimes two, sometimes five, in the group that are traitors, and it's like a secret who the traitors are. And you have to banish the traitors, but you have to figure out who they are, and it's so interesting, like, and it's hilarious. So
wait, what reality shows is the cast from?
They're from like Real Housewives, Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge. Like, there's like a really good mix, and it's so interesting to see like the different types of reality stars that there are, and
that's
how
cool.
Like, it's so cool. I thought it was so cool, and it was so interesting, and I highly suggest that people watch it. It just ended maybe 2 weeks ago, so the entire most recent season is streaming right now on Hulu. I mean, not Hulu, Peacock. Everyone go out and watch it. It's really funny.
Sold. That sounds really interesting. I like the whole like different cast thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like covers different, like you said, like people from Survivor, probably totally different characters than like Survivor or Housewives or something like that.
It's cool to see how they interact, and how like people who are on those like really physical, like mental game shows, like the gamers, how different they play the game versus the housewives, who actually hold their own, but in a different way. So it's pretty cool.
I like it.
That's my contribution.
Yeah, I got into Below Deck last week on a Monday when I was having to do like paperwork and billing and everything, and I have to say, like, it's just hilarious. I think it's sort of similar, but like the petty drama, and I honestly can't think of anything worse than being locked on a ship with a group of people that you potentially don't like or have issues with, and then they start hooking up, and it becomes like there's all these different dynamics, and it's one of those, like, it's easy to watch, but you also want to pay attention, but like and then you have these different charters that you go on, so you see these different characters that are coming on the boat. And I also think to some extent it gives you so much appreciation for being like in a service industry in a capacity, even if it's like a luxury one, of like the requests people make, like what you have to go through, seeing both sides of it, even hearing the audio of people being like, well, I just really wanted to go to the beach today, and they're like, well, with the wind coming through and the surf break, like we couldn't safely land on the beach. And they're like, my vacation is ruined. And you're like, well, did you want a 50-50 chance of dying? Like, I don't know.
I like the crew drama. I love the crew drama on that show.
Amazing.
Especially since it sounds like they're all sleeping together. So then you end up being at some point locked on a ship with your ex. Whew.
Oh, God.
Yeah. For whatever season I've been watching, which I mindlessly like turned it on the other day, it starts off and they're all like, no, like, don't don't mix business with pleasure sort of thing. And then invariably they have like a night off between charters and so-and-so makes out with so-and-so, but so-and-so likes them. And you're just kind of like it's good. So that's currently my new guilty mindless pleasure as far as
That's a good
goes.
one. I really like that show too. I haven't watched it in a while, but like anytime it's on, I'm like, oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's easy, like you said, an easy watch. Like if you need to do something else, you don't really miss things because they also revisit in a good way. Like it's not hard to follow if you miss 5 minutes or whatever. But yeah, I do enjoy it. And I'm not a reality TV person. Like I really, other than America's Next Top Model, like years ago, I'm not.
Okay.
Actually, this probably is my number one recommendation other than All That We Cannot See. And I like literally will promote this on Instagram to people for some reason, is Ginny and Georgia. It is, I think, my favorite like drama to watch. It has all of the things. It's like cute, there's family aspect, but it's also kind of scandalous. I mean, here's the thing that annoyed me when they were advertising season 1. I thought they did such a horrible job of portraying like what it was actually about. Like it literally just looked like another Gilmore Girls, which was a great show too, but that is not at all what this show is like.
There's so many layers.
Aspect. Yeah.
I love Ginny and Georgia, and it makes me cry and laugh and like I hate that we had to wait for the next season. Well, it got pushed back because of COVID, I think, right? Has it been? No, it hasn't been 4 years. I think we got one like during COVID or after COVID, I think. The writer's strike. It was the writer or the Yeah,
you're right. But yeah, Ginny and Georgia is my number one recommendation for everyone. I think both of you guys have watched Ginny and Georgia, right?
So good. Yep.
I don't know anyone who hasn't.
Yeah, you were the one. And I think I binge watched it in like a day. I remember texting you being like, when is the next season coming out? Like, oh my God. And we had to rewatch, obviously, the first one before the second one came back out again. And I think I've rewatched it twice, maybe since.
Yeah, same.
And even every time I rewatch it, there's something that I missed that you're like, I thought I got it. Yeah. And I think it's the second time you watch it, you think you have an understanding. The first time I went through, even when we would speak about it, I was like, oh, I missed that or this or, and maybe the third or fourth time I finally felt somewhat like, wow, like the
Reg. Hi, I'm your godmother.
Large creature.
So cute.
I don't know why I got these cats, guys.
He's so cute. He's like looking in the camera sometimes.
Thanks.
Okay, so my last suggestion, and this is like a quick plug because I just love it and it was such a good show, is Dead to Me.
Oh, that was good. I didn't finish it. That was really good.
Finish it. Yeah, it's really good. It's hilarious and there's like mystery and it's funny and you also cry and all the things. It's really good. Christina Applegate, is that her name? Is in it. And they had to wrap up the seasons because she actually was diagnosed with MS and it got really, really bad. So she's like couldn't act anymore. But they wrapped it up really nicely and it is so good. And the entire series is out on Netflix.
That's a good suggestion.
I feel like so many good show watch options now. Like this should be a thing going forward. I don't remember.
What are you watching?
I watched I don't know, this it's gonna be maybe a very random reach, but Fatale with Hilary
Swank. I want to watch that.
Michael Ealy and Mike Coulter. I watched it last night and it was one of those, it had kind of kept popping up on my like Italian Netflix is different than US Netflix and like what it recommends sort of thing because they have to be able to have at least Italian audio like subtitles. And I started watching it and it's like this psycho thriller, like all of these twists and turns. Also Michael Ealy is just Mike Coulter, like obsessed. Hilary Swank, I haven't seen her in a film.
I love Hilary Swank, but Michael Ealy makes me uncomfortable.
No, what?
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a really weird thing, but I feel like when I'm watching him, he knows something that I don't know. Like there's something about his facial expressions or like the color of his eyes or something where I'm like,
They're really blue.
He's
yeah, and
beautiful. I had a poster of him on my wall in high school. I barbershop.
Oh yeah, he was hot in Barbershop.
But I just was like, I'm gonna give this a shot, and it was so good. If you guys hate me, I'm sorry.
No, it's on my Netflix list. I've been meaning to watch it. It's just literally there's so many like to watch that I have not watched at all. I put one on my list, which is White Lotus, but I'm not going to go into that because I actually have a better one that is so underrated. I think there's 3 seasons. And it's a good one. Like after you finish Ginny and Georgia and you're like, what? Oh my God, I need something else that's good. The Wilds on Amazon Prime is so good. That's another one that I like tell all of my friends to watch. It's about a group of teenagers. Okay, wait, sorry, pause. I'm going to tell you 2 shows. This one, and then they're almost like very similar. It's a group of teenagers that get in a plane crash on an island. I'm not going to say any more. It is so good. So much suspense, drama, all of the things. It's really good. Another one that is similar to that is Yellow Jackets. I don't know if you guys, Gabbi, did you watch it?
I haven't watched it, but you did tell me about it.
Okay, Yellow Jackets also, it's another one. It's a girls soccer team that gets in a plane crash in an isolated, I don't know if it's an island, but some isolated area. And it is weird, but it is so good. The acting is incredible. Yeah, so Yellow Jackets and The Wilds are the other 2 that I would suggest. And you can like binge Ginny and Georgia, Yellow Jackets, and The Wilds. I feel like you could just take a solid month and not do a thing. This is my last one, I promise. If you like kind of sci-fi things, but more like drama and suspense, Orphan Black is also like really good. There's like 5 seasons. Orphan Black is so like that is like a staple if you like sci-fi stuff, but also drama, not weird sci-fi like
Some of these for a future episode because now I'm thinking of other ones. Was it AO you turned me on to?
Oh, the AO is
oh my gosh, so good.
It's the OA. It's the OA.
It's AO.
The OA is so good. Okay, the OA and Orphan Black are very not similar like in like what happens, but like in weirdness level and or like sci-fi to where there's not like weird sci-fi things like creatures. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like,
just
yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, the OA. I forgot really about that. That was
and what was that show that we watched, Bethany?
Okay, so the person who made the OA and who starred in it, Britt Marling, is also the one who did the show Murder on the
Edge of the World.
Yeah, Murder at the Edge of the World. She also made a movie called I Origins. It's phenomenal. She makes the best movies and shows. And
they're weird.
They're weird, but like so good. Like they'll stick with you. I Origins is one of those movies that a lot of random people will like tell you to watch. She also made that one. And like I can't get that out of my head. Like that changed my life. Anyway, watch anything that Britt Marling has made.
But there was another show that has to do with, it's kind of in the Ginny and Georgia sphere that we watched.
Firefly Lane.
Yes.
Also really
so good.
So good.
That one was like a roller coaster of emotions. That was such a great show, Firefly Lane.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should, okay, let's do an AITA. Let's do the first one that someone submitted. I feel bad. They actually were the first person 2 months ago.
Okay.
This person submitted an AITA and it says, am I the asshole for trying horses without my trainer? Am I the asshole for trying horses without my trainer? I was part of this barn from my first lesson all the way to jumping 1 meter at shows and looking for my first A circuit horse. When it came time to start trying horses, I tried a couple with her and then started trying some that I found on my own because it was my money and I knew how I wanted to spend it.
Oh, girl.
I wasn't trying to hide. What?
And that's why you pay commission most of the time. Carry on. Sorry, interruption.
I wasn't trying to hide that from my trainer, but I knew how to find horses myself, so I didn't see the issue. While I was trying horses, one of the people I tried a horse from gave me a lesson while I was trying one of his horses and asked if I wanted to come take another one. I told him that I did and that I had a lesson coming up with my trainer, but that I could move it because I felt his teaching was more what I needed. He had me jumping way bigger than my trainer, and I felt like I learned so much more. Sorry, this is already. He said,
This is so many layers. It just keeps getting.
Yeah.
Can we just
Yeah.
like address this now, or are we going to finish the whole thing?
I'll finish the whole thing. I'm trying to like process it, but also like, okay. He said he didn't think that I should do that and asked what my trainer's name was. I asked him to not tell her because I didn't want her to get involved. Skip to the next week at the barn. My trainer said that she wanted to talk to me and my dad after my lesson. I had 3 other lessons with her before this, and she didn't say a thing to me or my dad. I'm 17 years old, so I don't think she needed to drag my dad into this because he doesn't care, but she did anyway since he came to watch me ride. She made us sit in her office and told me how she got a call from the trainer I tried horses from and how she heard that I was trying horses behind her back. I tried explaining to her that I just wanted to try some horses and see what was out there and that it wasn't that we were not going to give her a commission. To be truthful, I do think that I am just as capable of finding what I need. I know how to schedule a pre-purchase exam. I know how to arrange a trailer ride. Sorry, dude, this is a lot.
I can't.
I know how to schedule a pre-purchase exam. I know how to arrange a trailer ride and a trial if the horse's seller is chill with it. She was really upset and ended up telling me that she didn't feel I should keep riding with her and gave me notice that very day. Didn't even ask me anything. Sorry.
Okay, you're not going to be able to make it through this without laughing.
Didn't even ask me anything or give me a chance to show her videos of horses I found or anything. My dad was so angry at her, and so was I. We wrote her a check for the days she said we had notice for and found a new barn that had a stall for me that week. I only left because of her actions.
No, you were kicked out, baby girl.
It's our money and she works for us. Why should it matter if I'm trying horses by myself? Why should I have to ask her permission when I'm paying her and she's working for us? She lost a good client just because she didn't want someone trying horses without her. Anywho, am I the asshole on this one?
Yes.
I would like to abscond from answering this because I have so many.
I'm an amateur with a trainer. So as someone who I am not a professional, I feel like I'm knowledgeable as far as like horses, like what, like I think that I could participate in a pre-purchase and understand what the vet is talking about. Like I'm pretty hands-on, what have you. You are paying your trainer for an expert opinion. And while you might think that you know how to find a horse, your trainer knows you, like your strengths and weaknesses. She knows how to match you with an animal that maybe you might not be in love with or obsessed with at the time, but they know how to match you with a horse that is good for you going forward. Why should your trainer care? Because it's a reflection of your trainer. Your trainer is going to be the one that is responsible for getting results on this animal, keeping this animal sound, keeping you safe on this horse. So for you to go out and try a horse, decide that you're going to pick one because you know what you're doing and you can do it by yourself, and then bring it into the barn and have all these expectations for your trainer, that is an unfair position to put the trainer in. You're basically forcing a liability onto this trainer. It's super disrespectful to then tell the new trainer, who, I guess, number one, why do you want to ride with your trainer then if you think this guy gives you way better lessons and way better instruction? You should have left the barn and moved in with this other trainer because he seems to be better according to you. I don't know. I can't even, I'm rambling because I can't even wrap my head around what this is. And you can't say this is my money. You're 17. It's not your money.
Well, I think that's why she was like, well, I don't know why she's involving my dad, because your dad is the one that is spending the money. I have I've had sales jobs. Like I've sold a lot of horses throughout the years. The reason you pay a commission is for culpability. Your trainer is responsible for the well-being, success, et cetera, of you and that horse. If you go into a program or are in a program and you feel like you have to go elsewhere to find a horse because your trainer is not giving you the satisfaction you're looking for, I think that's a separate issue. If you feel like they're respectful of the budget that you've given them or whatever, that's a separate issue. But the whole reality of paying commission is not that you are either being cheap about it or whatever. I think it comes down to the fact that that is a handshake, a monetary exchange of that trainer saying, this is the horse I believe I can make work for you if you're an amateur in this situation. And for me, if you were saving, I don't know what her budget was at the end of the day. Like, it could have been 30,000, it could have been 100,000, it could have been 500,000. I think the money is irrelevant, because to me, what people are willing to spend on a horse is what they are comfortable with, regardless of that. If that investment breaks their bank account or not, it's all the same money at the end of the day. But the reason you have a trainer is for their professional opinion and for their guidance and everything else. And if you are not, I don't even know how to explain it, but to me, it just doesn't make sense. It's like if you go to
a doctor.
Yeah, and you go to a doctor and you're like, well, I have a cough. And they're like, okay, well, let's run some tests. You're like, well, I don't want to pay for them. And they're like, okay, well, the only way for me to really know if it works is if you pay these tests. And they're like, well, then we should run them. And you go, well, I don't want to pay for it. And they're like, okay, well, then X, Y, and Z, like it could be this, 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 and this, which you probably looked up on WebMD, which WebMD invariably every time tells you it leads to death in some capacity, no. But like, if you are not looking for a trainer, then pay per lesson, pay for what you need as far as assistance goes. But the reason professionals are there to find clients' horses, in my opinion, and I've been in a lot of situations that say otherwise, and people are interested in making money, which is what it is in the industry, that I don't think will change anytime soon. But genuinely speaking, the commission originally is there for culpability. You have someone to blame. You have someone that has to be responsible for it. If the horse doesn't work out, they have to make it right. Like, that is the reason you pay them that.
And so much goes into matching a horse or finding a horse for a client than just picking up the phone and making a phone call. And so much more goes into a pre-purchase exam than just scheduling it. Like, do you have any history in your 17 years of knowing what, if a horse has OCDs, if a horse has changes on its radiographs? Can you read the radiographs? Can you look at the radiographs and know, based off of its history or what issues it has right now, in what it's going to do in the next 5 years? Are you like, okay, yes, you can schedule a pre-purchase exam. So can my 12-year-old neighbor, but they're not going to know what to do with that information once they get it. Your trainer has the historical reference of prepping horses in this sport for longevity and knowing what they can and cannot handle and what they can and cannot keep sound by looking at the pre-purchase. It's not just pre-purchases are not just black and white. Like, oh yeah, sound, let's go, perfect. Like, it's
well, and also I think if you have a horse that like maybe needs a pro ride on a Wednesday, it's different versus someone that says, I can't afford to pay the show bills for this horse to jump a full division before I have to go in the ring. Like, there are so many things that go into it. And if you are upfront and forward with your trainer about what you can, like what your expectations are, like that is the reason you are paying them for that, because it is their job to do that research. Like,
yes,
it is not if it's something that you think, oh, it's super competitive and I'm going to win classes, but your kid's not ready for it. I had a client a couple months ago that their parents were like, we want to buy her this horse. And the trainer was like, well, I think she needs this horse. And they looked at me and were like, well, what horse do you think the kid needs? And I was like, I think the kid needs to decide, because at the end of the day, she looks like she's petrified and honestly doesn't really want to ride anymore. But you guys are forcing on her opinions that I don't see her. I said, so either you're looking at listening to her and you're getting a horse for her that she will be able to ride for the next 6 months, be comfortable with. I don't think she wants to ride that long and she can potentially move out of it. I said, but you have to, like, all of those things go into account. And that is what, like, I think the dynamic of being a trainer has changed so much ultimately. Like, I think we were talking about being too close with clients, being friends with them, having that sort of aspect, being a part of things. But I think at the end of the day, it falls on the shoulders of the trainer to be professional, but also the clients to be aware of the fact that they are paying for a service. That trainer also doesn't owe you anything. Like if
No.
you leave, they're not losing out on anything other than you potentially bringing a horse into the barn that is not going to fit into the system. They are not going to be able to take care of, prepare properly, all of that. And it's going to be a liability for them, like you said, Gabbi, and it is going to reflect poorly on them.
And I cannot stress this enough. For anybody in any industry, if you feel like you're paying a professional, paying an industry expert, and they are not doing a good job, or you as the amateur junior, and by amateur, I mean person who is not trained in this profession, you're not the professional. If you feel like you can do a better job than the person that you are paying than the industry professional, find another trainer.
Yeah.
Level up.
Find a different doctor. If you think you know better than this doctor, then you need to find a different doctor. If you think that you know more than your trainer, you need to find a different trainer. Period.
I don't understand why that is so common. Like I hear people say that more than like I should, that they're confident in finding their own horse. They're confident in doing all these things. Like, why are you there then?
Yeah.
What are you do?
Yeah.
You are paying for, they do. Also, what really shocked me a little bit was she works for us.
No.
I think coming from a 17-year-old who doesn't understand the reason she would approach the father who is funding this whole thing and get annoyed about that. Like, to me, that's a scary sentiment because I think maybe he's not super involved. And I think I would have had a similar mentality with my dad because my dad didn't understand the horses, even though when I was growing up, he was technically like the one that had to sign off on things, you know. But at the end of the day, it's not about what you think you want. And I think it comes back to a greater issue of if you feel like you're not being provided the service you pay for, that's a different thing. But you feeling like you have to go behind your trainer's back in order to find something is also a different issue versus you just being capable of like, I'm 17 years old, I think I know better. Also, you jump the meters and like,
and the tone, I just want to say, I don't think it's okay, obviously, yes, they do work for you, but don't ever say that to somebody. I don't care if it's a waiter at a restaurant or the guy who cuts your grass or, okay, yeah, technically Joe Biden works for me because I am his constituent, whatever. Don't ever tell someone you work for me. Like that's I'm sorry. And I feel like you should not cut this out. I think that's a gross tone to have. Like, be respectful in how you address this other human. Like, you don't have to say you work for me. Like,
but also you could choose to, perfect example, if you want to eat out and your food shows up and it's not perfect, you could choose to eat elsewhere. Like, it's the same thing with trainers. If you want to ride somewhere else, if you feel like that trainer is giving you a better lesson because you think you should be jumping higher, then by all means, like, go. Yeah. No one is holding you hostage to your situation, you know? Like, trainers, yes, most trainers need clients in order to be able to pay the bills, in order to fund things, in order to, you know, make a minimal living wage at the end of the day. But like you said, I think it's just a really gross attitude to have that they work for you, because odds are you're not the only client. Like, unless you are a client that has 8 horses and you pay them privately, you are not their be all end all. Like, they're not going to starve if you leave. And if you treat them like that, most people probably are going to say, I'd rather find another way than put up with, which I think is what that trainer did essentially, is say, if you're going to behave this way, if this is going to be your mentality, like, respectfully, do it elsewhere.
Yes, 100. All of the points. Okay, first of all, she sounds like a little and I think that trainer avoided a, you know, potentially huge problem. So I am by no means on her side, but to be the devil's advocate a little bit, because I know there are people that are going to be listening to this thinking like, well, yeah, I mean, they're hard to believe, but there are a lot of people who probably don't sound like her, but have those opinions. She's not wrong on a lot of those points. Your trainer does work for you. You probably can call and schedule a vet appointment, but again, that's not like what you guys said. That's not all that it's about. But this is a completely different playing field than, you know, soccer or gymnastics or anything like that. There's so much liability in this sport. You are riding an animal that more often than not absolutely has to be ridden by a professional and is going to be ridden by the person that you're supposed to be paying that commission to, like you both said. So while you were right on all those things, my biggest thing, or I don't know if it's a takeaway from this, but if anyone's listening to this agreeing with her is, and this is one thing that I don't understand why people don't do more often, why clients don't do more often. Just like any relationship in life, communication is so important with your trainer. And you have to be comfortable enough with that person to where if you're unhappy with their services, or if you're feeling like, I want to go try a horse of my own, sit down and talk to your trainer. It is so easy to shoot your trainer a text and ask if you can have a chat tomorrow at the barn, although that's going to scare the shit out of them. But it is so easy to have a conversation and tell them like, look, I don't feel like we're finding what I want. It is, okay, you guys might disagree with me. I think it's okay to feel like you know what you want. That's fine. But you need to communicate that to your trainer so your trainer can go out and look for that, and also maybe add the things that your trainer thinks you need. Just because you think you want something that's quiet, level-headed, this size, this color, whatever, your trainer might have some other things that they want to add to that list to where it's going to last you a little bit longer. You know,
yeah, I mean, voice your opinions, but also know that sometimes you know what you want, but you don't know what you need.
Exactly. But just communicate. All of those things could have been communicated with her trainer, I think. I don't think she needed to, she doesn't sound like she's one to communicate, but like.
But like, I think maybe it was the tone of how it was written sort of thing. And I think her acknowledgement of being like, well, we'll pay you a commission anyway was kind of what set me off, because I have friends who are like, I have clients that I just am like, they can go out and do their own shopping. And it makes me super uncomfortable when clients come to me and they're like, my trainer knows that I'm looking for something else. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. I'm not comfortable with that. Like, I will never sell a client a horse directly without the trainer being involved, because of, I need to know that their professional opinion for my own sake means that they know this horse will fit this program, fit this client, because I'm at the end of the day, the one that's responsible for, or has to deal with the fallout if it doesn't work.
Yeah. And clearly the other guy felt the same way because he called her trainer.
So. Yeah, because I have a lot of respect for that also, to be fair. Why
that whole situation,
don't give the name. Like, I think it was handled in a good way. And again, maybe it's the rhetoric of how she wrote it, but I just feel like she had the attitude of thinking that she knew better. And I think if you're a client and you are paying for a service and you have the attitude, well, they work for me, it's like, could you do this without them? 100%. Like, what if you brought that horse and you had a dry stall and you had to do all the things with it? Like, that to me just doesn't, it's a dangerous sort of slope to go down, and people thinking that they know what they want and they can do all the things and you can schedule it, that check and this and that and all the rest of it and keep it together and have success and whatever else, you know, especially when it's your parents' money, which is why your dad was involved in the first place. So.
And can you legally sign for something like that at 17? I don't even know the laws. I'm lawless, but I'm just not sure. Can a 17-year-old
I don't think so.
sign a bill of sale?
I think it varies state by state, but I don't think you can here now.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not her money. Like, what?
So do we
I had to train the dad because she was like, hey, this is a bad investment. Like, maybe you shouldn't do this or whatever, you know.
Your trainer involved your dad because you're a minor.
Yeah.
And it's an inappropriate conversation. Number one, it's an inappropriate conversation to have with a minor. Number two, you probably don't know this because you don't do safe sport because you're a child and you're a junior and you don't have to do safe sport. But in order to have this conversation with you, your trainer needed to pull your father in.
Yeah.
To abide by safe sport rules. That's why your trainer pulled your father in, because it would be inappropriate for the trainer to pull you in and have a conversation like this in private without your guardian, because you have a guardian because you're a minor, present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think we, in varying different capacities, do agree that this kid is a brat. I won't use the term asshole, but like, I think she's a brat.
She's an asshole.
She asked. I believe in this situation. I don't know in your life, but in this situation, I believe you are the asshole. The trainer is not the asshole, and the trainer who called and gave your trainer a heads up is also not the asshole.
Correct.
Agree. I think that trainer was doing right by the system as far as that goes, which I think is also admirable, because I think a lot of trainers would have just said, yes, you should buy the course and we can steal this client and blah, 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 whatever, because they want to jump bigger. And please don't chew on that cord, tiny human. Hey. Nugget.
And can we give it up for boundaries? How about the trainer setting a boundary that was, this behavior is not conducive to the is not conducive to the environment that we have at this barn, and I don't think it's a good fit. So here's your notice. Like, kudos to that, because that's a hard position to be in as a trainer, is to like basically send income down the road. But she had a boundary and you crossed it, and
I bet that client has given her hell for a while. God bless her her new trainer.
Honestly, that's a little bit how I feel. I'm like, whoever tries to take the edge of that, like, it's like when someone hands a sword and you're like, which sharp end do I take? Like, this side, this side, take it. And you're like, all right, okay, well.
Dude, that's crazy.
So, yeah.
What a little.
We've lost one listener, probably.
And maybe she will learn something. I think we touched on a lot of different topics. I think we had a lot of different opinions, and I think different perspectives also. To be fair, I mean, Gabbi, obviously you're, an amateur who does know better to some extent, for what that's worth. Like, you're not clueless and just being like, no, I would totally do the same thing. And I think I have the sales perspective of someone who is just fully aggravated and would have to deal with, I feel like I was on the side of the other trainer who would be like, no, I'm not going to give you a lesson. Like, multiple points. So someone who, appreciates
and as an amateur with opinions and things that I like about horses, you bet your ass that I have been on Facebook and seen horses and seen videos and texted my trainer and been like, oh, I love this. And he's like, did you notice how it's only landing left here? And it was, and I'm like, no, I just thought it was pretty. Or I'll send him stuff and he's like, get off my phone. Stop with this. Like, and there's some things that I've sent him and he's like, oh yeah, buy that right now. So yes, I understand seeing things out in the wild, and your trainer can't be everywhere, and they're always like in the barn. They're rarely on social media. So yes, you might see something that you really like and you're like, I want to put this to the top of the list. But ask your trainer, because there are things that I feel like I'm well educated and I still don't notice. And like, yeah, I get being excited about seeing random things online or whatever and being like, I want to go sit on this, and having your have your trainer bring you back down to reality and be like, you don't need a 15-3 hand 17-year-old horse. So just
I could reinvent it. But again, I think, like Bethany said, being transparent, being clear about what you think your needs are, having a conversation about what they think what you want versus what you need, I think is a huge part of it. But I think not being sketchy and going behind people's backs, even if you're like, well, I'll still give you money. Like, what do you care? Like, that's not how it works. Most trainers aren't just sitting there being like, as long as I'm getting 10% or whatever, like, I'm find whatever nag you think you can find. Like, that's not, also it makes their day life miserable. And I don't think that's what people are interested in. So
I feel like also if you have that type of client that, and I don't mean this to come off the wrong way, but that really likes to be involved, because there are a lot of clients that honestly, like, will just put everything in your hands. But there are also clients, and I understand, who want to be involved in every single step. I would say it's best to like have that sit down conversation, ask the client what they need, what they want, all those things, or, sit down with your trainer, tell them all of the things, and then like let your trainer take that and put it in their hands, and then just do their job. There's a reason why you're paying them. And if you don't like it, then go somewhere else and pay someone else.
100%.
So that's the end of episode 3. I hope everybody enjoyed it. You guys can find us on social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we have a Reddit. So if you join Reddit, it's 100% anonymous. You can submit your own Am I the Asshole? Tell us your story, and we will probably air it on the podcast.
Yes, and hopefully we don't drag you.
Jeez. Yeah.
I mean, if you deserve it, you deserve it, to be fair. I think we have 3 varying opinions, so we come from a lot of different places. And I don't think we've been too harsh with anyone yet, but I think we are honest and realistic and all of those things. So if you're curious and you want to know from the perspective of 3 different individuals in the industry, submit.
And that's a nice thing about being anonymous is if you are like the 17-year-old who knows how to spend her money and knows how to schedule her own vet checks, we'll never know who she is.
Exactly.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.